All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kadash. I also want to give double honors to the elders, apostles of GMS that rule well and teach well and for giving us 100% truth. All right, this is going to be a little short little topic, a little work break topic. I wanted to just go into what is the difference between adultery and fornication. I can't talk right now. Fornication, Slovakia. Because some people, they go off trying to go into like fornication, all that, not having an understanding what it is. So I want to get into, first I'm going to get into what adultery is, okay? But let's get this definition real quick. Adultery is the act of sexual intercourse between a married person and someone other than their spouse. Okay. So this kind of goes off because according to the scriptures, adultery is when a man sleeps with another man's woman. Okay. Or when a woman, she commits adultery when she sleeps, pretty much when she cheats on her husband, okay? When she sleeps with another man and she's married. Okay, that's committing adultery, right? So let's get, this is Leviticus 20:10. And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Okay? So if the woman is married, okay, so if the woman is married and she cheats on her husband with that dude, that guy is committing adultery because she's married, and she committing adultery because she's married. She's married to someone already. Okay, so it'll be the adulterer and adulteress. All right. So that's what adultery is. Okay. But as far as a man can have multiple women. Okay, so the only way a man is committing adultery is when he's sleeping around with another man's wife. Okay, but if that woman is single, that man is not committing adultery. Okay, even if he has another wife. Okay, if he decides to take on another woman, that's not adultery. Okay, there's no such thing as cheating when it comes to a man. All right. That's why it says, and the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and adulteress shall be put to death. Okay? So just to prove that, let's get Exodus 20:10. This is Exodus 21:10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Okay, so this is showing that a man can have multiple wives, because it says if he take him another wife, okay, meaning that he already has one wife as it is. Okay, so this pretty much is that saying that you cannot neglect the first wife. Okay, you cannot neglect her from her like clothing, food, sex. You still got to tend to that first wife. All right. So you can't, if you get another wife, you just can't neglect the first wife like that. All right. So now, going to that. Okay. So I'm just going to repeat it again. Adultery is when a man sleeps with another man's wife, or when a woman steps out when a woman sleeps around with another man and she's married. Okay, that's adultery. Okay, but a man can have multiple women. Okay, the only way a man is committing adultery is when he sleeps with another man's woman. Okay, that's when he's going off. All right. So just like Solomon had multiple wives. Okay, Solomon had like 700 wives. All right, so but that wasn't the issue. Okay, the issue that got Solomon in trouble is that he went into idolatry. Okay, it wasn't because he had 700 wives. It's just that they led his heart away from Yahweh Bashar Shai, and he started pretty much giving in to their gods. Committing adultery. All right, and look at King David. King David had let's go to 2 Samuel 12:8. Okay, we'll read at 7. It's the prophet Nathan. This is 2 Samuel 12:7. And Nathan said to David, "Thou art the man. Thus says Yahweh, power of Israel. I anointed thee king over Israel, and delivered thee out of the hand of Saul." So the backstory, let me give you the story. What happened? Just to make it quick, David committed adultery. Okay, he committed adultery with another man's wife. All right, he knew that man had a wife, and he committed an act to where he pretty much set that dude up to get killed. He didn't kill himself, but he set him up to where that he knew that he wasn't going to make it out that war, that battle that he was sent to. So, but this is going into the prophet Nathan. This is when Yahweh was telling him that I could have gave you if that was. We'll read it. It says, Nathan said to David, "Thou art a man, thus says Yahweh, power of Israel. I anointed thee king over Israel. I delivered thee out the hand of Saul. And I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things." Okay, so pretty much, King David, he committed adultery, and Yahweh was just saying, like, pretty much, like, if you pretty much he would have gave him more wives if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? Because he did that. If that, he pretty much would have gave him more wives if that's what he wanted. All right. So the having multiple wives wasn't the issue. It wasn't an issue. Men were allowed to have multiple wives. Just think about it. Jacob had 4 women. Okay, he had like 4 wives. So that wasn't the issue. Okay. So now let's get into this word fornication. Okay, because let's get the definition, see what they say. But I know they're gonna go off, but just for edification. Fornication. Fornication is a sexual intercourse between two unmarried individuals. And wrong. That's wrong. Okay. The word fornication does not mean premarital sex. Okay. When sex is marriage. Okay. Because that don't even make sense. All right. Because let's go to Genesis 24:67. This is Genesis 24:67. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. Okay, so what? So it says, and Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. Okay, let's go on this word took. I ain't going on this word. To take, get, fetch, lay hold, seize, receive, acquire, buy, bring, marry, take a wife, snatch, take away. Okay. So he went into her. He had sex with her. Okay. So she became his wife in the act of sex. Okay. So fornication does not mean premarital sex with two unmarried individuals. That doesn't make sense. Okay. As you see, and Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. Okay, so Isaac took Rebekah in his mother's tent and popped her. Okay, in the act of sex. Okay, so sex is marriage. Okay, now the word fornication is used on a broader term. Okay, let's go to let's get on. I think it's Matthew 19 and 9. All right, this is Matthew 19 and 9. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, commit adultery, and whosoever marry her which is put away do commit adultery. So pretty much, you can't put away your wife unless it's for the means of fornication. Okay, because you just can't put your wife away for no reason, because then you put her away, you're going to cause her to commit adultery. Okay, and you're committing adultery as well. Okay, and whoever shall marry her which is put away do commit adultery. So whoever marries her or fucks with her next is committing adultery. Okay, so we're going to go into this word fornication, which is sexual immorality. Let's go into this word. Is porneia. Okay, from G4202, harlotry, adultery, incest, idolatry, fornication. Okay, so these are the broader terms, okay, of it. So you got adultery, fornication, homosexuality, okay, that alphabetic community, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, sexual intercourse with close relatives, sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman, metaphor the worship of idols. Okay, that's going into spiritual fornication or adultery, in which we're going to get into that next. The defilement of the adultery and as incurred by eating sacrifices offered to idols. So fornication has a pretty much a broader term that deals with illicit sexual morality. So I wanted to get into this because a lot of people think, oh, I'm committing fornication because I'm having sex before marriage. Okay, when sex is marriage. Okay, that whole paper shit or whatever, that's Esau shit. That's Esau shit. His system. Okay. So now let's get into spiritual fornication and adultery. Okay. And not a lot of people know about spiritual fornication because a lot of people are committing spiritual fornication. All right, let's go. Now, spiritual fornication, what you gotta understand is that, you Israelites, starting with you so-called Negroes, Latino, Native American Indians, and Puerto Ricans, we were given laws, okay? We're given law, statutes, commandments, okay? And those law, statutes, commandments is what joined us, okay? Which, that's how we are married to the Heavenly Father, okay? We're married through these law, statutes, commandments, okay? That's what the law, statutes, commandments what joined us with the Heavenly Father, right? So, as a whole, Israel as a nation committed spiritual fornication and adultery, okay? Because the Heavenly Father looks at us as a nation likening to a woman, okay? I think that's Jeremiah 62. Let's see if I can get that. Okay, this is Jeremiah 6:2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman, okay? So the Heavenly Father is our husband and we're the woman, okay? And we're joined with him through these law, statutes, and commandments. We are married to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? So we got to understand that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is a jealous power. Okay? So just like when just like when you're married, right? And let's say you're, okay, I'm the man and I see my wife talking to another man. You're going to be jealous. You're going to be full of rage, right? Okay, well, in a spiritual sense, That's how the Heavenly Father felt, okay? When he seen us going into all these other philosophies and these other gods, okay? Where we're committing spiritual fornication, spiritual adultery. Okay, we're cheating on our husband with these other idols that is not no idols. Okay, let's get Jeremiah. Start at. Let's see. We'll start at 6. This is Jeremiah 3:6. And Yahweh said also unto me the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel have done? She is gone up. You see, he says she has gone up every high mountain and under every tree, every green tree, and there have played the harlot. Okay. So us being a woman, the nation of Israel, we went playing a hoe. Okay, we went sleeping with spiritually worshiping these other idols and these customs of these heathens, cheating on Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Because we was whoring, being a harlot. Okay? That's what that's going into. And I said after that, after she had done all these things, turned down to me, but she returned not. Okay? So we just kept on playing that harlot. We still kept on cheating on Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it. Okay, Judah's the southern kingdom. Okay, because the two kingdoms are split. And I saw when, for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. And yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went also and played a harlot. Okay, and it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones with rocks. Okay. So we were committing whoredom. Okay. And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah have not turned unto me with her whole heart, but vainly saith the Lord. And Yahweh said unto me, the backsliding Israel had justified herself more than the treacherous Judah. So the either northern kingdom committed spiritual adultery, and so does the southern kingdom. Okay, that's what it's going into. Go and proclaim these words toward the north and say, return, thou backsliding Israel. Okay, and that north is talking about America. And say, return, thou backsliding Israel. And I will not cause my anger to fall upon you, for I am merciful, says Yahweh. I will not keep anger forever. Only acknowledge thy iniquity that thou hast transgressed, okay? Because we cheated on the Most High. Okay, we transgressed the laws, okay? Because that's what joined us to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And has scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, says Yahweh. Turn back, O backsliding children, says Yahweh, for I am married unto you. You see? So the Yahweh was married to us, but he gave us a bill of divorcement because we were playing a hoe. Okay? When you bow down to anything other than Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you are committing spiritual fornication, spiritual adultery. Okay, so all you jakes that's out there calling on the name Jesus or on these churches and calling it anything other than Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you are committing spiritual fornication, spiritual adultery. All right. Okay, so married means joined. Going to this word married. Baal, to marry, rule over, possess, own, to marry, be lord, over, to be rule over, to be married. I want to word, see what that is. Okay, so we were married to the Yahweh. All right. So now let's get 2nd Chronicles 21:11. This is 2nd Chronicles 21:11. Moreover, he made high places in the mountains of Judah and caused the inhabitants of Jerusalem to commit fornication and compelled Judah thereto. Okay, you see? That's going into spiritual fornication. Let's get this last precept. This is Jeremiah 2:20. For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou saidest, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest playing the harlot. Okay, that's us going into these other philosophies, us going into idolatry. Yet I planted thee a noble vine, a holy, a right seed. How thou art turned to a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me. Okay, so when we get into all these other heathens customs and all this other stuff, we become a degenerate plant. We become a strange vine to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Okay, we become strange. Okay, we got a different covering on. Okay, it's not the covering of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All right. So those the meaning of those, fornication and spiritual fornication and adultery and all that. And I hope this video was edifying, and I want to say shalom.